McEnroe, when we finish, by the way, I need to ask you to keep your voice up a bit. It's hard to hear you.
I understand. I'm sorry. You're right. I understand. Sorry about... Oh, hey, look, this does twist. All right. Yeah, maybe that'll help. Sorry.
You were fine yesterday afternoon. We didn't have to ask you at all. Could you try to keep your voice up like that?
I will try to do so, yes. My apologies.
Mr. McEnroe, when we took the break, you were describing or explaining to us how when you said to Michelle Anderson, hey, if you're going to do this, do it, or let's go home, that was just a terrible misunderstanding.
No, actually, I was saying that was very bad choice of words on my part. I was trying to say that literally if, we can still leave. And she didn't take it as that. She took it as me as encouragement and egging her on. And so she acted on it as that. And I'm not trying to say that my responsibility is absolved by that mistake, but that maybe if I hadn't said that, then I think there's probably a pretty good chance that things wouldn't have went the way they did, and that I failed in that too.
Mr. McEnroe, when you said, if you're going to do it, let's do it, you meant, if you're going to kill him, let's kill him or go home.
If you're going to kill them, then kill them. If not, then let's just leave. That's exactly what I meant, yes.
And what's completely missing from this is any suggestion that what you were saying to Michelle Anderson was, if you're going to talk to these people about money owed, this would be a good time. That was never in anybody's mind, was it?
Not in my mind, no. No, it was not.
So any suggestion that this jury might have, or any impression that you think you went up there to resolve a debt or to talk about a car, that's not true, is it? You went up there to kill them.
As far as Judy and Wayne go, yes.
There was never any doubt in your mind, was there?
No, I thought we were in danger.
So any claim that after you killed Wayne, you went into this dissociative state, that doesn't explain these murders, because you planned these murders before you ever got up there.
As to Mr. McEnroe's ability to testify as to what a dissociative state is, he's not an expert.
And I'll overrule answer to the best of your ability, sir.
I was part of that plan that she had, yes.
And this idea that one of your friends, or one of your spirit guides, whatever it is, named Void, sort of took over, that's not true either, because you went up there to kill.
It is true, but it doesn't change anything, and also he's not a spirit guide, he's a piece of me. He's a part of me that broke off from this. It's like if you were to take something and stretch it out too much and it snaps, and even so, that part that was left behind is still me. So that does not absolve me of any responsibility of anything in this particular instance, no.
Mr. McEnroe, when did you come up with this idea about Void?
As far as naming him?
When did you come up with the idea?
That snapping was what I felt when they died, and that distance, the I don't know, the dissonance that was Void was there when it happened. So that's why I'm trying to tell you it now. I'm not trying to absolve myself, even if, like I said, it's still me. I'm still responsible for what happened now. So it doesn't change anything.
So why are we talking about Void?
Because that's how it happened.
Mr. McEnroe, you told this jury you went up to kill them. And you killed them. And it was only after that point, this claim that there's some fragment of you named Void decided to appear.
No, what I said is that we went up there so that she could kill them and I could protect them. I ended up killing them anyway. And that in the process, part of me broke off, and I would later consider that part void.
Didn't you tell us
And also, there was another part of me that broke off as well, that I considered the other, which was just so disgusted with what happened that it didn't want to do anything with me. So,
Didn't you tell us this morning that when you were up there, you decided that she shouldn't kill them because that would be too cruel on Judy to have her killed by her own daughter?
yes, I did think that.
So a change of plans once you got there.
Once we were standing there, and Michelle had a gun that was jammed, and I had another gun that was working, and Judy was screaming, and no, she wasn't screaming yet. She hadn't started that yet. No, the idea of transferring it over to Michelle did not occur to me. So I felt that it would be in the sort of short thought process that it would be better to just finish it this way, quick or less awful than giving it to Michelle to do.
Mr. McEnroe, you're now testifying that the thought of transferring the gun to Michelle did not occur to you?
Right.
You tell Sally Johnson it did occur to you, but you thought it would be too cruel to have Judy killed by her own daughter. So you kept the gun and shot Judy in the head.
It certainly would have been too cruel to give it to Michelle, and so
So it
I don't
occur to you.
see. I'm not sure what the difference is, but I'll accept your representation. I accept that you're probably right. I'm not sure what the difference is, but you're probably correct.
You said to Michelle Anderson, either do it, if you're going to do it, or let's go home.
That's
What you meant was, if you're going to kill him, kill him.
that's what
Let's
we
go home.
that's what we had discussed. Yes.
No, that's what you said to her.
No, that's what we had just said moments ago.
That's right. That's
Yes.
what you said to Michelle Anderson, is it not?
Yes, it is. That's what I just said. Yeah.
By the way, Detective Tompkins got it right, didn't he, when he testified?
I don't know. What did he say?
Remember he talked about his conversation with Michelle Anderson at the time of her arrest?
He did say, if he had said, if you're going to do this, then do this. If not, then let's just go. If he had said that, then he did have it right. I don't remember exactly what it is that he had said.
Mr. McEnroe, you were frustrated and concerned because you got there at 2:30 in the afternoon and an hour had gone by and Scott and Eric were about to arrive, correct?
I wasn't frustrated, but I was concerned that we would shortly be in a more dangerous situation than we had to be. And that would go and put her in more danger than she necessarily needs to be, and I would have a harder time protecting her in that situation if it came to it. So,
And it was your belief, was it not, that Michelle Anderson was angry and frustrated with her parents?
very much so, yes.
So Detective Tompkins, in effect, got it right, didn't he? Because you, in effect, said to Michelle Anderson, if you're going to do it, you're this angry, this frustrated, kill him.
I guess, in effect, that it did come basically to the same thing. That's not what I had said, but the effect is the same. And that's what I've been trying to say.
And it is what you meant.
What I meant was, if you're going to do this, then do it. I'd rather just leave, but I didn't say it like that, unfortunately. And so things progressed in the way that they did. And everybody died. And this is my fault.
In the planning of these murders, Mr. McEnroe, you and Michelle Anderson discussed who would be killed first, who would be killed second.
No.
Do you remember telling Dr. Sally Johnson that you wanted to shoot Wayne first and quickly?
Yeah, I do remember that, actually. Yeah.
Do you remember
Because
saying...
after her trip, she had discussed how she was not angry at Wayne anymore. So she didn't want him to suffer. I do remember that, yeah.
You need to speak up a bit.
I do remember that, yeah, but that did not come up in the planning.
So the discussion that Wayne needed to be shot first and quickly was not part of the planning?
No, it didn't come up during the planning. It came up earlier, but she didn't mention that during the planning that I recall.
And you said that Michelle Anderson was standing at the counter and Wayne Anderson was watching television, correct?
No, I said that Michelle Anderson, when she fired on him, was standing right behind Wayne. He was sitting at the couch.
And the first shot, as far as you know, grazed Wayne's head?
That's my belief, yes.
And you believe that because he was holding the back of his head when Judy ran out of the room?
And yes.
And Judy said, and you were back there wrapping presents with her and consoling her about the loss of her mother's boyfriend, Judy said, what was that?
Yes.
What did you tell her it was?
I didn't say anything, if I remember correctly. I believe we just went out in that direction to see what it was.
And Judy ran out before you?
Yes, she did.
And you saw that Michelle's gun was jammed, didn't you?
I saw Michelle turning away from where Wayne was, holding the back of his head. And I went through the kitchen, and when I got to the other end of the kitchen, she was standing there in front of me with the sweatshirt open and the gun inside it jammed, and looking up at me, I don't know, surprised? Scared? Somewhere between surprised and scared. And Wayne's charging down on her at that point. So I drew my gun, and I wasn't even thinking at this point, just drew and fired.
And Judy saw the gun in Michelle's hand, didn't she?
There's a perfectly good chance that she did, yes.
Well, not only is there a good chance, you told Dr. Johnson this, didn't you?
I believe that she did, yes.
And then you shot Wayne.
Yes, and I shot at Wayne. I missed. He crashed into the chairs. He acted as though he had been hit. He crashed into the chairs, fell to the ground. I stepped over to him, and I fired directly down into his head. Then I turned to Judy and fired, and I believe I missed the first time. I fired again, and that particular shot threw her back. I went to where she was over by the refrigerator, told her that I was sorry, and then I fired on her.
Where was Wayne when you shot him in the head?
He was directly by the table with his head facing, if the doorway was north, his head was facing south.
Was he on the floor?
Yes, he was.
He presented no threat to you whatsoever, did he?
He did not present any threat to me whatsoever, no.
He was not armed in any way?
No, he was not.
What did he say to you?
He did not say anything to me.
And when you fired at Judy, was she still screaming?
When I first fired on her, yes, she was.
What was she saying?
She was saying, "No! No!"
Because she'd just seen her husband shot in the head, right?
Yes. As I said before, my mistake, I was obviously completely incorrect in assuming that, or at least hoping that they did not suffer, but obviously they did.
And you stood directly over both of those innocent people and shot both of them in the head?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Michelle Anderson had a bit more difficult a time dealing with those murders than you did, didn't she?
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled, go ahead and answer to the best of your ability.
I don't know. I know I was having a very hard time dealing with them myself, but I had to protect her, so I started going, like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Michelle, where are you? You're the one who said that you had this plan and everything figured out. What am I supposed to do now? And she's running around, and she kept wandering off, and just, I don't know what she was doing during this time. I honestly don't know if she was having a hard time with it than me or not. I was having a very, very hard time with it. I did not want these people dead, and having to deal with the cleanup and moving everything was just absolutely horrific. And the worst part of it was that it was my fault that these people were dead. Okay, that I had put them into this state. It wasn't that that it was a mess or that it was anything else or anything like that. It was just that it was that I had caused this emptiness, these people who are now just gone, and just this horrible thing. And I'm trying to go off and like get Shell to help me, and she just keeps running off, and it's like, look, can you please help me out here? And I was trying to protect her, and I was trying to go and get. It's like when something's going bad, I try and like do something useful, and that's how I handle stress, is doing something useful. And unfortunately, in this case, all that I had that I could do was clean that up. It wasn't to bait a trap or anything. Well, yes, correct myself. When I was thinking of it, I just wanted to go and I did not want to leave them there. I did not want to have them there. But to an extent, yeah, it did come down to baiting a trap so that when they came in, they wouldn't be asking about, hey, why are all these guys dead on the floor over here? I was still hoping at that point that they would come in, that they would give Shell the money and go away. I didn't want to kill these people.
You baited that trap, didn't you?
I just said I did, yes.
You took control of the situation, didn't you?
I took control of cleanup, yes. I kept asking her, it's like, look, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to put these guys? What do you want me to do with this? What do you want me to do with that?
And she couldn't respond, could she?
No, she did.
She told you
She
it's
came-
not like the movies, right?
She did say that, and she came over and she said, go and put them in the back shed. What am I supposed to do now? Okay, I have to clean this up. What am I supposed to clean them up with? So there's some towels over here. Okay, what do you want to do with these towels? Okay, put them in here.
Mr. McEnroe, do you remember telling Dr. Johnson and telling this jury that every time you looked to her for help, she was wandering around? You took charge.
I had to keep calling her back to help me out, yes. I had to keep calling her back to help me out, yes.
You're the one
Had to keep calling her back.
You're the one who was directing. What happened?
She was the one who was directing. I had to keep calling her back to tell me what to do.
Mr. McEnroe, do you recall telling Dr. Johnson you're the one that made the decision to move the bodies to the backyard? You're the one who made the decision to clean up the blood. Mr. McEnroe,
And
you're
she
the one who made
was-
the decision to bait the trap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not Michelle Anderson.
I just kept asking her for help on how to do these things and what she wanted me to do, and she's the one who would tell me, okay, this is how you're doing it, but yes, I'm the one who cleaned them up, I'm the one who chose to move the bodies, and I'm the one who, as I said maybe 5 minutes ago, yes, I did bait the trap. I was not specifically thinking of baiting it so that they would walk in and be complacent. That's not specifically what I was thinking. What I was thinking is I need to go off and like get rid of this. And this being these two innocent people who I had just killed, who I had considered mom and dad. And no, that doesn't make it any better either.
Mr. McEnroe, you didn't think there were two innocent people at the time? You've told this jury repeatedly, and you've told people over the last 7 years you thought they deserved to die.
I thought we were in danger from them, not that they deserved to die.
So you're not suggesting now that somehow you had an epiphany after you shot Judy in the head?
Look, even if I thought we were in danger from them, I still did not want. I still felt. Even if I thought we were in danger, even though I thought we were in danger and everything, I did not want these people to die. I had wanted to leave. Up until everything happened, and in fact, once everything was happening, I had wanted to leave. But she still insisted that this had happened, so I'm sitting here with these dead people that I did not want to kill, and as I'm standing here with them, I could only think of I failed so horrendously, seeing the emptiness where these people were, and I'm not trying to say that that makes it any better, because even after that I still stayed, because she's still like, oh, they'll still come, and I just wanted to leave. But wasn't good enough. So,
Mr. McEnroe, you're claiming that now. That's not what you believe then. That's why you baited the trap.
I'm claiming, I'm under oath. I'm trying to tell you exactly what I remember happening. If I'm saying something, I might be remembering it differently, but I remember them being there with them, and we can't just leave them here. We can't just leave them. Yes, there were baiting a trap probably came up at some point. You know, I certainly didn't want them to come in and start, frankly, come in and see, let's put it frank, come in and see their dead mother and father and immediately start into a combat situation. I was trying to avert that still.
You're trying to what?
Avert that.
Are you suggesting that when you made the decision, you, not Michelle Anderson, to hide the bodies, that when you, not Michelle Anderson, made the decision to clean up the scene, that it was not your intention to kill Scott and Erica and those two little kids?
Look, I was really hoping that, as I've said before, that they would come in and that she would be able to go off and resolve their thing and that they would just go away. No, I was not thinking long-term at that point. I just wanted them to go away. I just wanted to leave. I did not want to kill anybody else or harm anybody else.
Well, if it wasn't for Scott and Erica and Olivia and Nathan you were baiting the trap for, who were you baiting it for?
I was just trying to get rid of this horrific crime that I had created, this horrific error that I had created. I just wanted it to go away, and as I said, I was more of trying to make a state where she wouldn't be where they wouldn't attack as soon as they came in, and where there might still be some chance of a peaceful conciliation. Though, of course, the reality is that's not likely at all, because even if they had walked in and even if they had given her the money, what are they going to do? Just walk off? Oh, well, I guess they're not here today. We'll just go off like leave. No, okay, in all reality, that's not going to happen. That couldn't have happened, and I was a fool to even hope otherwise. But that's what I was hoping, that they would just go away. But it didn't happen like that, and obviously it couldn't have happened like that.
Mr. McEnroe, do you think this is funny?
Absolutely not.
What's with the mocking voice?
I'm mocking myself. I'm mocking my own foolishness and my idiocy in seeing these things and trying to go and work around these things that would be obvious to anybody who was really looking.
Well, then let me ask you, if you didn't think this was funny, why did you tell Dr. Johnson it was kind of funny, fitting in its way?
I don't understand the context.
I'll give you the context. Remember after you shot Wayne in the head
Yes.
and Judy in the head, and you made the decision to get rid of the bodies, and you made the decision to clean up the scene, you then grabbed Judy's body. Do you remember that?
Yes.
But you couldn't pick her up, could you?
I could pick her up.
Remember telling Dr.
Not all
Johnson
the way up.
she was dead weight? Literally?
Yes.
And so you had to call Michelle over because Michelle wasn't participating in the cleanup.
Because she kept wandering off, yes.
And you said you and Michelle took Judy's body to the shed.
Yes.
Remember telling Dr. Johnson that the shed was like an adult dollhouse.
Yes.
And you found that humorous.
That it was like an adult dollhouse?
Yes. Remember telling Dr. Johnson, quote, kind of funny, fitting in its way, unquote.
Yeah, because she had her little adult dollhouse. I didn't think it was funny that her dead body was going in, though. I thought it was funny that she kept herself a little adult dollhouse.
And how was it fitting in its way?
That she had her little space, how Wayne had his garage, his big space, and she had her little dollhouse space of her own off to over there. I didn't think it was funny or fitting that she should end up dead in her dollhouse.
But that's what you told Dr. Johnson, kind of funny, fitting in its way.
That's not the way that I meant it. I had said that she had had her adult dollhouse and that it was kind of funny that she had an adult dollhouse, but it's fitting that she had that adult dollhouse.
Well, you found other parts of the cleanup funny too, didn't you?
Such as?
Well, remember talking to Dr. Johnson about moving the bodies?
Yes.
And you said that you wondered after the murders, what now? And you had to go find Michelle because she'd, quote, wandered off again, unquote.
Yes.
And you complained, quote, she's no help running around.
Yes.
Remember that? You're in charge here.
Okay.
And when you moved Judy's body down the back steps, Michelle had run off yet again.
Yeah, she kept running off, yeah.
And you said that moving Wayne was difficult. Do you recall that?
It was very difficult, yes.
In fact, in court here last week, you called him a robust man. He was very heavy.
Yes, he was.
And again, you tried to get Michelle's help, but again, she had run off.
Yes.
And later, when it came time to clean up the blood, you complained that Michelle was gone again.
Yes, she created this mess and just left it to me to clean up, yes.
And you took charge and cleaned it up.
Yes, I did.
And you complained to Dr. Johnson that when you were cleaning up the mess that Michelle was not helping you bait that trap.
I complained that she was not helping me at all clean this up. No, she just kept leaving it to me. I don't believe I said that she was not helping me bait the trap.
You complained that she was not helping you clean up,
Yes.
and the cleanup was baiting the trap, wasn't it?
Yes, but I did not go off and say that it was baiting the trap. That it ended up being baiting a trap. That was not, as I said, that was not the primary goal. The primary goal was to just try to erase what had happened. The signs of what had happened.
And you remember saying to Dr. Johnson, quote, it's not bad enough I had to clean up the mess. I had to keep calling her over, unquote.
Yes. She made this. Look, she was the one who decided that she. Sitting here hoping that maybe, just maybe, they would not show up. And I expressed such, and she said, no, they'll come. Oh, they'll come. They better come.
And fortunately for her, she had you there to reload the guns.
I'd say more of unfortunately for everybody involved, including myself and home.
Who reloaded the guns?
I did. I was just saying that it wasn't fortunate on anybody's part, that it was very misfortunate that I happened to be there and happened to be capable of reloading the gun and giving it to him.
Then after you put Judy in the shed, you had to get Wayne in the shed, right?
Yes, I had to go and remove him as well.
And you remember how you described it to Dr. Johnson 4 months ago? Quote, a horrendous comedy of errors. Unquote.
Yeah.
Because Wayne was so big and he was so heavy.
And that every time I tried to move him, that something would go wrong, and so I'd have to call her back over. She'd come over, help for just a moment, and then disappear again. And I'd get a little bit farther, and then I'd have to call her back over to help me with something else, and she just kept disappearing. Every time I would try and, like, do something, every time I would try and move him, I had to keep bringing her back, calling her back over, because another thing would mess up. A comedy of errors is when when things keep messing up.
Does it still seem like a comedy to you?
There's a difference between a comedy of errors and a comedy. A comedy of errors is when things keep messing up. I did not, absolutely not mean that it was funny in any way. And I'm sorry, that was not anger directed at you. That was anger directed at myself, and just because it wasn't funny. It was not. I'm sorry at my poor choice of phrasing, but that's the terminology that I've always heard, where a string of things that keep a string of mishaps, I've always considered to be termed the comedy of errors. That's why I used that term. Not that it was funny in the least.
Do you remember the advice that you gave to Dr. Johnson during the interviews?
Probably something along the lines of "don't kill anybody."
Exactly. Quote, advice, don't kill anybody, unquote.
It's good advice.
Is it funny?
Absolutely not. I was being honest.
Do you think she needed to hear that, to know that?
No, I have a tendency to give little quips. I was not trying to be funny. I was just being honest. That's just how I talk sometimes, and I'm sorry for any offense, but it's true. I mean, look, don't, That's not me trying to be funny at all.
And then as you waited, you reloaded the .357,
Yes.
correct? How many bullets had you used?
I believe I used 5 at that point.
Was it completely empty?
I do not recall. I do not think so. I probably had 1 left.
And you gave the .357 to Michelle Anderson as you waited for Scott and Erica and those little kids to show up, right?
I did this, yes.
And the reason you did that, as you told the jury last Thursday, was because you did not trust the 9mm because it had jammed.
And I wanted to take away any possibility that I could be drugged into shooting anybody else, yes.
It's not what you said to the jury last Thursday. Last Thursday you said it was because you didn't trust the 9mm because it jammed.
Okay, fine. Let's just go with that.
And the reason you didn't trust it, the reason you were concerned, is you wanted to make certain you had a gun that would actually kill these people.
I wanted to make sure that she had the means to protect herself if it came down to it, and that as she was planning on killing these people, then yes, I have to admit that to make sure that she had the means of doing that in a way that was the least danger to her. Yes.
And then you and Michelle Anderson waited.
Yes.
You waited for Scott and Erica and the kids to show up.
We did.
You told us last Thursday it was a good half hour before Scott and Erica came.
During which time I was hoping that they would just not.
Remember saying last Thursday that I can't remember what happened much in that time frame?
This is correct.
Is it?
That half hour after I finished cleaning everything up and was just standing there waiting for them to show up. Yeah, there was a lot of pieces that are missing after that.
Do you remember telling Dr. Sally Johnson, the defense expert, that you and Michelle discussed, quote, how are we going to do this, unquote? Remember that?
I remember parts of that.
You remember discussing, do we do it outside, inside, or what? You remember that?
I remember asking that, but I don't remember much else other than that.
You remember making the decision to play it by ear when Scott and Erica showed up?
Okay.
You remember talking with Dr. Johnson during that period of time before they showed up that you were concerned about the haze from the gunfire?
I remember that there was a thick haze from the gunfire, as I'd noted on my testimony previous, that there was a thick haze of gunfire, and that there was the smell of blood and death in the air. And I said that in my previous testimony, yeah. I don't remember having particular concerns about. I don't remember. I'm sure I did note that and have concerns about that. I just don't remember that part.
You remember telling Dr. Johnson that you stood in the living room and psyched yourself up for what's coming?
I don't remember that at all, no.
You saying you did not say that to Dr. Johnson?
I'm saying I don't remember that at all.
Did that happen?
I don't remember it. I can't say whether it happened or not. If I said it to Dr. Johnson, I suppose I did, but I don't remember it.
And you told Dr. Johnson that Scott and his family arrived about 4:45, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
You remember that?
I don't remember exactly what time they showed up now.
And you pretended to have a conversation with Scott.
No, I did have a conversation with Scott. I asked him how Walk was doing and what he was doing now. How Walk was doing and what he was doing now. He told me about this project that he was working on with the reservoir, and it actually sounded really interesting. And then Michelle stands up and she said, "Where's my money?" Scott looked at her, and as I've said previously, earlier in my statement with Detective Pavlovich, I thought that he was giving her a kind of, "I know what money you're talking about, but screw you" kind of look. But looking at it realistically, it was more of a "this again" look. So one way or the other, she dropped the sweatshirt and started firing on him.
So you were having a sincere conversation with Scott Anderson, asking about his job. You were really interested?
Yes.
So when
I was
Michelle
really
had-
hoping that, like I said, I was really hoping that this would end in a way without them dying. I did not want them to die too.
So when Michelle had the bad manners to say, "Where's my money?" Did you say anything to her like, "Hey, wait a second here, we're having a conversation about Scott's job"?
When she did things, she was going to do them. I did not tell her how to do things. She told me how to do things.
And when Scott Anderson said, "Hey, where's Mom and Dad?" and one of you said, "They're out back."
She said with a little smirk, "Oh, they're out back." That was when I was like, oh God, because that told me that she was actually looking, that this was actually going to happen. I had been hoping that this would not happen, and then just that to me kind of made it more that it would happen.
Can we see Exhibit 1? Is it on? For the record, on the screen, Mr. McEnroe, if you wouldn't mind looking at
Oh,
this.
right. I'm sorry. I didn't know you had a picture up there.
That's where Scott was sitting now, right before he was shot to death, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that where Wayne was sitting too?
I believe Wayne might have actually been a little bit more in my direction, actually. Somewhere between where Scott was and I was in that picture.
And when you were having the conversation with Scott, were you really interested in how his work was going?
He was sitting there, and I was sitting in the chair that would be beside the coffee table at the left corner of the picture.
The recliner.
Yeah, the recliner.
And at some point, Scott got up and went to the refrigerator.
When he came in, he had they dropped some stuff off. Erica went her way, and Scott got a pitcher, carton of juice, and went over to put that in the fridge, and I followed him when he did. Yes.
And you noted to Dr. Johnson that when he did that, that was just the place where Judy had just been shot to death. You remember that?
I don't remember noting it, but it's still true.
Then he came back from the kitchen and sat back down on the couch.
Yes.
And the children, the little kids, were with Erica
Mm-hmm.
on either
Yes.
side of Erica
Yes.
when you were having this conversation with Scott about his job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at some point, after Michelle Anderson started shooting, and Scott grabbed her, told us you got another weapon.
After I tried to pull him off and get the the weapon from Michelle, yes. And failed to do either, yes.
And that's when you tried to shoot him in the head as well, but you missed.
Yes, so that's what I said.
He fell back and you thought he was dead.
Yes.
And you now know that in all likelihood he was not dead.
Actually, from the testimony, it sounded like he probably was dead at that time anyway, but because a little bit had passed, and as the medical examiner had said, that a wound like that, you would only be going for a very short period of time anyway. So.
And while this is happening, Erica is running for the phone.
I believe that's correct, but I can't remember certainly.
You can't remember what?
I can't remember certainly.
How'd she get there?
I believe she climbed over the couch, but I can't remember certainly of that either.
You told the jury last week that you don't remember, or you don't think she would have been shot by the time she got to the phone, right?
I do not believe so, but I could be wrong. Again, I don't... There's another gap, though.
There's another gap?
There's another gap, unfortunately.
You remember listening to Michelle Anderson's statement to Detective Tompkins?
I remember listening to it.
Remember Michelle Anderson telling Detective Tompkins she was pretty much amazed that Erica could get to the phone because she'd already been shot multiple times? Do you remember that?
I do remember that now you mention it, yes.
Well, that's just a gap now for you.
It was a gap for me, yes. I know that I'm not the one who shot her at that point, but I remember at some point Michelle had unloaded the revolver into Erica, but I do not remember exactly at what point that occurred.
You remember telling Dr. Johnson, I apologize for the language, that Erica had fucked up because she unloaded the revolver, excuse me, that Michelle had fucked up because she unloaded the revolver into Erica and she hadn't managed to kill her? You remember saying that?
I don't remember saying that, but sure I did. I don't doubt it.
Erica grabbed the phone, she dialed 911.
Yes.
You ran over and grabbed the phone from her.
Yes, I did.
And you listened.
Yes, so I did.
You were looking at the buttons on the phone to try to determine which button turns off the phone.
Yes, sir.
And you couldn't figure it out.
This is correct.
So you pulled off the back of the phone.
Yes.
You pulled out the battery.
Yes.
And you threw it.
I did.
You did that because you wanted to disconnect the 911 call.
Yes, so I did.
And by the way, when you told Detective Pavlovich, long after you confessed, that for all you knew, Erica could have been calling the Friars Club, that was kind of funny, wasn't it?
Absolutely not.
Well, the Friars Club is a club of comedians in New York City, is it not?
I don't know.
Did you really think she was calling the Friars Club?
No, I wasn't sure. I don't believe I was sure at the time who she was calling. Later on, I mean, I know now that she was calling 911 and that I actually went and held it for a second before pulling out the battery, but I was not trying to mislead him. I think I was just confused.
You know
But
now?
I do not know who the Friars Club is. Maybe they're a group of comedians. For all I know, I always thought of chickens, actually.
For all I know what?
Friars, like chickens.
You really thought she might have been calling the Friars Club?
I was saying that I don't...
Mischaracterizes his testimony.
What I was trying to say is that I don't know who she was... That at that point, I didn't know who she was calling.
Didn't you tell this jury last week that you looked at the readout and it said 911?
Yes, I did. And I said that just not even 5 minutes ago, that I looked at the thing and it said 911, and I held it up to my ear for a second and I heard somebody say that. I did not at the time remember exactly who she was calling. I was not trying to I was not trying to misdirect him at that time. I could not remember who, or for whatever reason I was confused or couldn't remember who she had called at that point. So
You told us you looked at the buttons, correct?
I looked at the buttons, I looked at the readout as to who she was calling. I put it up to my ear, and I heard somebody say, I don't know, something. presumably 911, and then I put it down. Then I looked at. No, I don't remember the order that I had it in. Okay, I remember that I also went and, after looking at the buttons, trying to find the off thing, I pulled out the took off the back, pulled out the battery, and threw it off to the side. Yes.
You told this jury last week, Mr. McEnroe, that you looked at the readout and it said 911. You recall that?
I just said that. Yeah.
You told this jury last week that you heard the 911 operator say hello. Do you remember that?
I don't remember exactly what she said at this point, but yeah, I just said that.
And Erica was screaming, was she not?
No, she was not.
She was not screaming?
That was Olivia.
Erica did not scream into that phone?
Erica did not scream into that phone, no.
What did she try to say to 911 then?
I don't know. I took the phone from her and she didn't say anything. Olivia was the one who was screaming, and that, no, does not make it any better. That actually makes it worse. I mean...
We play Exhibit 8. You are hearing this 911 call during the course of the trial, Mr. McEnroe?
I do, okay? And I still say that that was not actually Erica. That was Olivia.
We play that.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Mr. McEnroe, there are two voices on there before the 911 operator says hello, are there not? One is probably Olivia, who is moaning, having been shot. But the first voice we hear, you know exactly what was said, and that was Erica's voice, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, it still sounded just like one voice to me. And it still sounded just like Olivia.
Mr. McEnroe,
I could be mistaken. It could be both of them. I only remember Olivia screaming in the background.
Mr. McEnroe, that was Erica Anderson screaming, no, not the kids, no, wasn't it?
Objection. The exhibit speaks
It didn't even
for-
sound like that to me. It sounded like she was saying, it sounded, on listening to it, that someone was saying, he's got a gun. That's what it sounded like to me. But at the time, it didn't sound like either of those.
Mr. McEnroe, you were there.
Yes, I was down. It did not sound like anybody was saying, no, not the kids, and nobody was saying, no, he's got a gun.
Erica Anderson yelled, screamed, no, not the kids, no, correct?
That's not what it sounded like to me on the replay, and it's not what it sounded like to me when I was there. And she was not, I do not remember her screaming. I remember Olivia screaming.
Play it again.
Oh, God.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Mr. McEnroe, you're telling us that is not Erica yelling, not the kids.
I still have to say that it does not sound like she's saying, no, not the kids. It does not sound like anybody's saying, no, not the kids. It sounds, if anything, like somebody saying he's got a gun.
Well, you were there.
Yeah, and at the time, Olivia was screaming, and it didn't sound like she was saying anything at the time. Erica was not saying anything. I mean, take it as, please, take it as what it sounds like to you, but
Probably a good spot, I think.
that's not what I heard.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please leave your notepads and pens in your chairs. We'll excuse you from the meeting now or in a moment. Please don't